Hi, welcome back. So after last week's video where I was tantalizingly close, irritatingly close to starting to get some reliable data off the disks, or at least off them in a way that I could actually start fishing through, I finally made a bit of progress again. Although it's kind of one step forward and one step to the right. Let me explain. So what I did is I went on eBay and I bought myself an Adaptec 2944UW HVD PCI controller, which very conveniently comes under the Linux AIC 7000 series drivers. So I threw the card in, I dropped a copy of Debian Jesse on here, and it finds it, no issues, no complaints. I'm able to pick up the disks, no problems at all. I've kind of given up on doing it a shelf at a time, sort of. To do it a shelf at a time, because I have the J2 side and the J4 side connectors, and then there's an ID0 and ID1 on both of those, so it's two separate buses. To do the whole four disk shelf at once requires me to re-ID two of the disks. And they got kind of old after the first two shelves. So what I've been doing is I'll power up the shelf, I'll plug the SCSI cable that's connected to the PC into the J2 side. I'll do a bus scan on the Linux box, which I had to relearn how to do because /proc SCSI no longer exists. The new system is every bit as incomprehensible, but whatever. So I scan the bus, find the two disks. I have a Perl script that copies the disks off, DDs them, labels them correctly. Then I'll use the /devices to remove those two disks. Plug it into the J4 connector. And then I rescan the bus, recopy the disks, and I'm laughing from there. So far I've got 3 shelves copied, and we're making some pretty good progress. The only reason that I'm at 3 shelves right now is I'm kind of out of space. I've been copying them to an external USB disk, or external SATA disk, and I have a couple big SATA disks, but I use them for backups of all sorts of other machines, and so they have a VFAT file system on it. And I completely forgot that VFAT's maximum file size is 4 gigs. So I need to buy a couple big disks, 2 tera, 4 tera, and format them eXT4, and then actually probably eXT2 so it's easier to read on anything, and make sure I had mirrored copies of them. Anyway, I should have done that weeks ago. I only figured this out a couple days ago. The step to the right, however, is because of those 3 shelves, of the 6 J2 side disks, I'm only able to get data off, well, 1.5 of them. The very first shelf, I had all 4 on the same SCSI chain. I had re-ID'd 2 of them on the J4 side, and one of the J2 disks didn't come up on the bus. That's kind of odd. And so after I'd finished copying the other 3 disks, slid the shelf out, I pulled that disk out, set it on the bench, and it didn't spin up. I'm not used to hard disks not spinning up, you know. Maybe I've just had good luck, but normally when I have hard disk problems, it's the magnetic media is no longer holding, and so it's data going missing, bit rot, or it's a head crash situation, so you have all sorts of wonderful noises, or the bearings are going out, and so it makes horrendous squealing noises, things like that. I don't usually have a disk that just doesn't spin up. And so I went through the usual persuasion techniques, and I didn't get much joy there. So I'm not really sure what's going on. The thing that I haven't tried yet is to pop a controller board off a good disk and put it onto one of the bad disks and see if it spins up. They're all these same Seagate disks, so possibly there was a manufacturing fault in this series of disks. I don't know. They must have cost the earth in the late 90s for a full height 10 gig SCSI disk. I mean, unbelievably expensive. Doesn't mean they're free from fault, however. I'm just hung up on the fact that it's always the J2 side disks. It's never the J4 disks. And that I don't understand. That seems really strange to me, you know? But they don't spin up. And I can't figure out how to blame that on the SCSI bus. It's not a spindle spin-up display, spindle spin-up delay. Although some of the discs do have those jumpers on them, even removing the jumpers, it doesn't make a difference. There's nothing, zip, nada. So I'm not really sure what's up there. I'll try the controller swap and give it a go. I suspect if I really start going, well, when I get to the point of trying to install an OS on this or something like that, I will probably not use these discs. There's just so many of them. I'll probably just use a single HVD SCSI disk that I'll plug off the back of one of the cables and do it that way. Anyway, so left to go is obviously to finish copying those disks. I have started to hunt through the data that I've found, and so far it's been mostly huge amounts of numbers, tables and tables and tables of numbers, buckets of source code, and lots of accounting data. Unicode has very detailed accounting data so that you can track usage, disk usage, memory usage, CPU time slice usage to a user. And so there's lots of accounting data that I have on these machines, which also gives me usernames and things like that. I've also found a couple copies of what appears to be an etc password, although I don't actually think it's from /etc. I haven't found any other obvious system binaries yet, so I don't think I found /etc or the, I think /root was where the rest of the binaries were. I'm not remembering off the top of my head right now. Unicode is a little different. But I've got 75 gigs worth, and that's a lot of data to go paging through. What I'm going to do is crack together some kind of simple scanner so that I can go hunting for, in particular, the param file. Maybe help me figure a bit more about the configuration and reassessing the array structure so I can rebuild the slices back together again as they're supposed to be. And after that, I really need to start powering up the iOS cabinet. The iOS blades have a serial port on them, a serial A/B port, and it's a combined port with a funny connector. I think I mentioned this in the iOS chassis video. I don't have a pinout for that, and I can't seem to get Themis, the people that made the board, to get back to me. So, if you have pinouts for a Themis 2LC Spark board, or is it 8LC, I forget, boy, I'd sure like to hear from you. Failing that, what I'll probably do is, after verifying the power on the supply looks good in the VME chassis, I'll pull all of the boards and I'll just try and start up a single iOS board, or IOP, and start sniffing at those pins on the pinouts. It's probably on pins 2 and 3. That's usually where RX and TX are on serial. So hopefully serial A is on 2 and 3 on this, and I'll at least be able to find that. And then maybe we can see if we can get it to talk to a bootp server and get those booting. That would be kind of cool. See if I can get the iOS on the SWS to bring the thing up, and then maybe get to the mainframe. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have a bunch of stuff to do. As always, I appreciate all of your comments and any of your thoughts. I have had a couple of people ask me about sharing the data that's on the disks, and I am very reticent to do so. I appreciate a lot of people have interest in these sorts of things. Certainly I have interest. It's kind of cool to know that they were really using this as a supercomputer. It was there crunching numbers. But this also contains real people's work, real people's data. It would just simply be unethical to share that with anybody else. So I will not be doing that. I'm sure you guys understand. Anyways, thank you again, if you have been. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Adios.